Welcome to the tutorial for the No Beginning Chain Egg Blanket. I am Mama from Mama's Stitchery Projects, and this is another one of my No Beginning Chain series of blankets. And the special thing about all those blankets is they are made to be easy to work with, really bumpy or textured yarns. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to make the No Beginning Chain Egg Blanket with a smooth yarn, just so it'll be easier to see what I'm doing, but it can handle as bumpy or textured yarn as you can imagine, because all the stitches are made in chain spaces rather than having to find individual stitches as you're doing the work. And that is the signature elements of my No Beginning Chain blankets, is having no beginning chain plus having to find no stitches as you go. The URL for the complete pattern is in the description, and please go there to find the complete directions and also to find information on sizes, yarn requirements, and any other things you would need to know to complete this blanket. I'm going to be making just a small sample today to show you how this works. The first thing I'm going to do is create a slip knot. I usually just hold the yarn together and crochet twice and then pull it through, and that makes a slip knot. And to begin our chain, what we're going to do is make these big chains made of four chain stitches and a double triple stitch. And I'll show you how to do a double triple stitch. That's not one that we do very often. And I will note, most of my No Beginning Chain blankets are made using triple crochets, but this one and one other, the No Beginning Chain brick blanket, those are made using double triples. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 4, and then to do a double triple, you wrap the yarn around 3 times. And this will be the only time you have to find a stitch when making one of my blankets, is the very first stitch. You have to find the very first chain that you made. That one's usually a little bit easier to find. Now pull, yarn over and pull through 2 at a time. So you're going to be yarning over and pulling through 4 times to make a double triple stitch. And there you've made your first chain loop. And these are what we're going to be working into instead of a beginning chain. So to make the next one, chain 4, and then we're going to make another double triple crochet, double triple crochet. So we're going to wrap around 4 times, wrap around 3 times. I'm confusing myself. 3 times, and then this time we're going to go into that space that we just created, that loop that we just created, the last one. Yarn over. So now you have 5 loops on your hook. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that was 4 times you yarned over and pulled through 2. Now we have 2 spaces. Now for our sample, I'm just going to make 6 spaces. So here I'm going to chain 4, yarn over 3 times, go into the last space, yarn over, pull through 4 times, do. So now I have 3 spaces. I'm just going to continue to do this till I have 6 spaces. So again, if you go to look in the description for the path to the complete pattern, and I have information on how many of those spaces you want to start with to make what size blanket. And in the pattern I'm using a heavier yarn than this, is just a worsted weight yarn. Most of those bulky kind of textured yarns are a little bit heavier than this, so you can see in the pattern what I've done. But we're up to 5, so I need to do 1 more. And the other thing that's a little different about the egg blanket than some of my others is most of the others I kind of start into the main pattern right away after this beginning chain. With the egg blanket, instead of having the eggs themselves on the borders right on top of these beginning chains, I thought they would look a little unfinished. So I've designed it to have a bit of a border at the top and the bottom. So for that border, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chain 4. Now note in the pattern it says do not turn. And the reason I say that is we're used to, when we're crocheting, to work across and then turn the work. But notice we're already on the side we need to be to then work across this way. We normally work across and end over here and then have to turn the work, but to make that beginning foundation you worked this way. So that's why I say do not turn. A lot of people get confused over that. It's really not anything to get too concerned about. It's not anything special you're doing, it's just something you're not doing. You're not turning it. Alright, so I chained 4, and without turning the work, I'm going to, and I just want to make sure that I keep the double triples on the top. These are what I'm going to be working across, and then my chains are on the bottom. Okay, and so working across these, I'm going to work a double crochet, and then a chain 1, and then another double crochet, and then for this pattern another special stitch that I'm doing is a decrease stitch. And another kind of special way I'm using the decrease stitch is I'm using 2 spaces when I make it. So yarn over like you're going to make a double crochet. Insert your hook into this same space you've been in, just like you're doing a double crochet. Yarn over and pull up. So far you look like you're making a double crochet. Yarn over once and pull through 2 loops. Now stop. Don't finish the double crochet. Yarn over again. And now this time insert your hook into the next space. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Now you have 3 loops. And basically the bottom of 2 double crochets, one in this space, one in this space. Now yarn over, pull through both, or all 3 loops. So you've made, it's a decrease stitch because you have 2 double crochets at the bottom, but you have 1 stitch at the top. Now then, in this space we're going to make a double crochet. Well, if I don't keep dropping my stitches, and a chain and another double crochet. And now we're going to make another one of these decrease stitches, and each time we make one of these decrease stitches we're going to be working across 2 spaces. We're going to be working into the space we've been in, do half of the double crochet, then yarn over and go into the next one. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. We have 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through all 3. Alright, double crochet, whoops, and chain 1, double crochet. Now again, do the bottom of a double crochet, stop, yarn over, go into the next space. Now we have 3 loops, go through all 3. Double crochet, chain, double crochet, another decrease stitch. I'm just going to finish up this row. So I've done, this is my last decrease stitch, and I'm here at the very end, and in this last one I'm going to do a double crochet and a chain. I've got a little knot. A chain, and now 2 double crochets to finish this one out. Alright, so what this did is it kind of gave us a bit of a line, a solid sort of an edging, Instead of having those eggs kind of floating around in space, it kind of gives them more of a solid border. For row 3, we're going to chain 3. Now you are going to turn because you've worked across the row this way like you normally do. So yeah, you turn it over just like you always do. Now all your rows you're going to turn just like you always do for crochet when you're not in the round. When you're working back and forth in crochet, always have to turn at the end of the row. So I'm going to do a single crochet in this space. Now I'm going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and do a single crochet in the next chain 1 space right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet. And you might have to kind of dig around with your thumbs to find the spaces, but they're there, and especially if you have a bumpy yarn, but you can find them. You're looking for your chain spaces. Easier than finding stitches. And then at the very end we're just going to chain 3, and we're going to do a single crochet in this space created by the chain 4. Alright, now we're going to start getting into making the eggs. That kind of gave us some chain foundation for the eggs. We're going to chain 4 and turn. Now in this chain 3 space we're going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and that will be our edge border. Will consist of these kind of half shell looking things. And now for the eggs we're going to do 2 chains, and we're going to skip one of these spaces, and in this next one we're going to work kind of a shell of 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. And then chain 2, and again skip another one of these spaces, and in the next one we're going to do 3 double crochets, and when you're doing your big blanket you're going to have a lot more going across. I just have a little sample, but you would continue to make these the bases of your eggs going across. I just happen to have 2. So now in this last space I'm going to put 3 double crochets, and then chain 1 and a double crochet. So those are the bottoms of the eggs. Now I'm going to chain 4 and turn. These will be the middles of the eggs. And so as usual I'm going to do 3 double crochets at the beginning in that very first space. Then I'm going to chain 2 and do the same thing I did before. It's just this time I'm working in those chain 1 spaces that are in each of these shells. I'll be making 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. And you might be thinking that does not look like an egg. Guess what? It doesn't. It doesn't look like an egg at all. It looks like shells. The magic happens on the next row. That's where they're going to look like an egg. Just trust me. Now I'm going to chain 2 and work 3 double crochets, chain 1, double crochet, in that last turning chain there. So this will be the magic row. Chain 4, and it is worked very in a very similar way to the last 2 rows, but there's one little trick that's going to be different. We're going to work our 3 double crochets like we have been doing. Alright, now here is when things are going to change. Instead of chaining 2, you're going to chain 1. Now, hook, not under this, but under this. 1, 2. You're going to go down 2 rows and put your hook through and yarn over and pull up and make a single crochet. And what you did was you caught two rows worth of chains in that single crochet. Alright, then chain 1. We're going to make a shell in this one. Alright, so let's do this magic again. Chain 1, 1, 2. You're going to catch 2 rows worth of chain 2 and then chain 1. Now there's an egg. You do it with the top part of the egg. You catch those chains and it makes eggs out of your shells. So complete a shell here. It also makes your borders look like half eggs on the sides. Chain 1 and go under 2 rows worth of chains, single crochet, chain 1. So now we have half egg and 2 whole eggs. Now, making rows of eggs, you're going to repeat 3 rows over and over and over. The row you'll make to make the bottom of the eggs is written a little differently because instead of working into the space like you did here, you're going to be working into the top of the last egg. But otherwise it's completely the same. And you'll then just repeat those 3 rows over and over again and make as many rows of eggs as you want. Then I have instructions for putting a border at the top. So I'm going to pretend that we've made many rows of eggs, and now we're going to finish off and make this border at the top. So we're going to chain 6 and turn. And we're going to skip all the way, we're going to skip all this stuff and go to the next egg and do a single crochet and then chain 6. And then single crochet in the top of the next egg, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then do a single crochet at the end at the top of that partial egg. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some more, we're going to do a kind of a straight thing here at the top to match up with what we've done at the bottom. So now I'm going to chain 4. And in each of these chain 6 spaces, I'm going to put 3 double crochets and a chain 1. And then after that, I'm going to do a chain before then I do 3 double crochets and chain 1, 3 double crochets in the next one. So what you will have going across is going to be 3 double crochets divided by, separated by single chains. But there'll be 2 sets of those in each of these chain 6s. But that will just kind of give us a similar look to what we have at the bottom. Alright, so in this last one I'm going to work an extra double crochet. Just kind of finish that off. So at the bottom I have these loops because we began with the no beginning chain loops. So to make loops across the top, for my last row I'm going to chain 4 and look for each of these little holes, and I'm just going to do single crochet, chain 4, single crochet, just work across. So this will make the top consistent with the bottom and make the blanket look a little more finished than if we just finished with eggs and didn't have anything at the top. And that is it. We're going to single crochet right here and we're done. So you'll just finish that off and weave it in. And so that completes the tutorial for the no beginning chain egg blanket, and thank you very much.